Okay, sir.
Yeah, welcome back to a regular class and welcome back all. We are going to start that nested if topic. Yesterday we discussed about various statements. If you know the statements, there are three types of statements. One is called as empty statement, simple statement, and compound statement. If is one of the compound statements. Simple statement means it is a simple instruction in the form of a single line. If multiple simple statements are combined together, such a scenario is called as compound statement. And you have seen that how various forms of if statement can help us for decision making, and we are specifying some condition. The condition may evaluate to true or false value. Depending on true, we are performing some action one, and if the condition evaluates to false, we are performing an alternative action. And you can have any number of actions, say for example in the if in the form of if elif, you can keep on going. Now in that sequence we are going to see nested if. Nested if means the word nested frequently we might be using in our computer context. If you put one structure within another structure of the same kind, in that scenario we call it as nested. Say for example, if a statement can have a body, and that body is containing another if statement, such a structure is called as nested if. Why do we need this type of nested if you take the if elif condition, most of the time only one else will be available. If all condition fails, there will be only one option to execute the false condition. But if we need more than one else, we can go with the nested if you take the structure that is available in front of the screen, it is having two else. First one condition will be tested. If it is true, inside the body one if else is available, that will be executed. If the condition is false, it will move on to elif condition. If both condition fails, it will execute the else part. Because the body of the first if condition is containing a if else nested, so that condition will be condition number 2 will be executed. If that is true, then the statements will be executed in the if part, otherwise else part will be executed. This is the behavior of a nested if statement. Depending on the requirement of our problem, we might be using nested if statement, but most of the problems you can solve with the help of what it is called as if elif is sufficient for us to solve most of the problems. Say for example, if you want to find out the leap year or not, a particular year is called as leap depending on some specific condition, and some years are not called as leap year, non-leap year. How do we find out? If you have that year name number, just you divide first by 100. That modulus division is giving you 0 reminder. Then if that year is also giving you 0 by modulus division of 400, then it is a leap year. Otherwise it is not a leap year. If the division of by 100 is not working, you can check by 4, modulus division 4. If that is also producing, if another alternative for leap year condition is, if it is either it should be divisible by 100 or it should be divisible by 4. Anyone you can check with this type of statement. Such type of scenarios are possible. Such type of scenarios are possible with the help of nested if statement. If you observe the solving of leap year, here the solution is available in front of you. The first if statement is having a body, it itself is containing a if else condition, and after that there is no nesting of if statement. Only the first if is nested with another if else, except that there is no nesting is there. But in case if you want to nest, Another elif is also can contain, the body can contain another if else. I can say one if elif can contain another if elif also. Actually, as much as in my suggestion and opinion, how much you complicate the nesting, that much it will be difficult to understand even tomorrow. Today you may solve the problem by creating a very complicated nesting of if statement. Tomorrow when you open the program, what is the logic that I have designed, something you will be get confused. What I suggest you is one or two level of nesting is okay, but deep nesting of such problems you can solve it with the help of some other alternative solutions. We can explore such type of solutions later. In case if you are having three numbers, how do you ascending order, that means increasing order, how do you order the numbers? Using if else nested structure, you can form the numbers in min, mid, max. You can decide like this. This is the solution program. The logic is available in front of you. As when I asked, if we have five numbers, how do we perform the ascending order? You have to understand that we didn't learn lot of statements in Python. Many of the statements will make us, as soon as we explore more statements in Python, that much we'll be solving closer to many problems. We will be having solution to many problems. Okay. And now the final thing what we are exploring is, this is something usually not done in any other programming languages, but storing condition and reusing the condition is encouraged in Python. What do you mean by storing condition and what it is called as exploring the condition? In a program, if our condition is complex and if it is repetitive, many times you are using the same condition, then we can store the condition in a name and then use the name condition in if statement. It makes the program more readable. If the length of the condition, lot of relational operator, logical operators, multiple things are happening, you are not able to understand what is going on. The same condition you are using in the program again for 4 or 5 times. The simple solution can be store the condition in a variable. Store the condition in a variable. That variable can be used wherever you need that condition. Because the name of the variable will be a small one, condition can be in any length, any components. In such a scenario, condition can be stored in variables like x is less. The name of the variable is x is less. What are you going to store in that? Y greater than or equal to x, or x, what it is, you have to understand the value of x is between y and z. That is the meaning in shortcut form. Here y is less, y is between x and z. Say for example, whether a number is even or not, always you have to use this condition. You can use that condition in a particular variable. Wherever you need this condition, num divided by a modulus division by 2 equal to 0, in that place you can use the variable even. That even variable will be giving you the necessary things. So that's it about if statement. Already I suggested you, if you have gone through the PDF descriptive material and also these slides, you could have found lot of example and exercise programs to solve with the help of if statement. If you are comfortably solving all the problems, then it means that you have understood comfortably the concept of if statement. As soon as we start exploring very complicated problems, then should be recalling all whatever we are learning here. Now I want to move on to today I want to move on to the next topic of the same control flow, something called as loop structure. It is called as loop structure, also called as repetitive statement or iterative statement. People call it in different names. You can call it a loop or iterative or a control flow structure, whatsoever may be. As per your choice, you can go with a name. Now basically, what is a loop? You have to understand what is a loop statement. We have in our real life, there are a set of code. Say for example, you want to execute the same code again and again. You don't need to write 10 times the same code to be executed, something like that. You don't need to write the program only once, put it inside the loop statement. Loop statement will take care of those repetitions. A repetition is something what, if some statements are there, it will be executed again and again. Start from line 1, go to up to, for example, 10 line of code is there inside a loop statement. So it will start from line 1, it will go to up to 10. Again it will go back to start line 1, again execute, line go back to 1, and it is called as repetition. That is called as a loop statement or iterative statements. If you execute any loop only once, if we say that iteration 1. If it is executing the same code second time, we say iteration 2. Something can pseudo code means in computer, pseudo means it is false. Pseudo means it is not genuine, something like that. The meaning is pseudo. Code means the programming. Here pseudo code we are referring to say that whatever you are seeing in the screen is really is not a Python program, but something descriptive, as if it seems to be like a program we have written, so that without following any rules and regulation, this type of programs can be written and it doesn't comply to any programming language. Such type of brief explanation, etc. is called a pseudo code. You will start the program, you will get an input of number n, and let count be 1, and display n times 1. After that you will add 1 to count. If the old value was 1, it will become 2. If count is equal to 10, you have to stop. Otherwise, you have to go back to step D. As soon as if it stops, you have to jump to step H. What we are doing is we are displaying some multiplication table like n times 1, n times 2, n times 3, something like that. This is called as a repetition. Python loop statements, or two types of loop statements are supported by Python. Repetition can be achieved with while statement and for statement. There are two conditional and counting loop. Sometimes it is also called as counting loop, for loop, conditional loop, while loop. If you have to keep on counting something, some counter is going on, then you can go for loop. You have conditions, based on that condition you have to execute a set of statements or a block of statement again and again, as long as the condition is true. In such a situation you are going with while. Basically we can say that Python provides two types of loop statements or two loop statements, while, for. For your information, I can say if you want to solve a problem with the help of for loop, equally you can solve the same problem with while, and vice versa. But sometime using while loop will be more convenient, using for loop will be more convenient. So appropriately you will be choosing for loop or while loop. That's why in the beginning I said, if it is a condition based repetition, go with while. If it is something like counting based repetition, it will go with for loop. And to use the for loop function, you have to understand a function called as a range function. A range function, before we proceed to for loop, let us understand range function, which we will be using the loop to repeat the statement to n number of times. A repetition for a particular time, a definite time. In another sense, I can say you don't know how many times you are going to execute. Maybe it depends on the condition of the user. You are not able to decide. Go with while. You know that the program is going to be executed 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, means go with for. If you want to count the number of times that the loop is executing, you have to understand a function called as a range function. We usually use with the for loop statement. What is the syntax of range function? There are two arguments, two values range function is accepting. Lower limit, comma upper limit, two values. It generates a set of values from lower limit to upper limit minus 1. Say for example, range 1 comma 10 means it will generate numbers 1, 2, 3 up to 9. Lower limit is 1, upper limit is 10. Range function will produce 1 to 9. It means that lower limit to upper limit minus 1 numbers will be, set of values will be generated. Set of values will be generated. Now if you say range 1 comma 10 will generate set of values from 1 to 9. If I say the range 0 to 7, it will generate 0 to 6 values. Whatever you are specifying as the upper limit, that number itself will not be included. Minus 1 will be the behavior of the range function. This behavior is coming from some of the old programming style, like for loop in C, C++, Java is also having. We use I less than, not we, most of the time we don't use I less than or equal to. So that behavior is given by the range function. There is a third argument is also possible for a range function. It is called as step value. If you take, I told you, range function accept two numbers. First number is lower limit, the second number is upper limit. The third number is step. How much every time it has to be increased? How much every time?
Why?
Yes.
So again say third point, sir.
Gautami, you are getting the same problem.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible? Friends, all of you able to hear?
No,
Voice
No,
sir.
is
audible, sir.
Sometimes voice is.
uh, now it is clear, Gautami. Okay. What about Somashekar? Narasimha is also saying the same. Vinay. What about
Yes, sir.
now is
Sometimes he's better, sir. Now, sometimes it's not better for clear voice.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Actually I'm focusing on the net is connected, and I'm focusing on the subject matter, and perfectly the net is going on, but I don't know what happens. Maybe there are various reasons are that, nor we cannot just blame the service provider alone, like Airtel or Jio. Sometimes Google is also responsible for that. I don't know clearly. We will find out. I will install a app and I will keep on watching what is the speed my internet connection is providing. That one will help me in future. As of now, I'll continue. Now you see, my friends. Now if I say a range function, now you focus that red colors. You can change the step value.
Sir,
Yeah, please.
sir, can you explain third point?
Third point, yeah,
Yeah.
step value. The step value you are talking about, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
The step value means how much the next value will be generated. Say for example, I said the step value by default it is 1. Say if you specify range 1 comma 10 means the numbers will be starting from 1 and it will be generated up to 9. The next number in the sequence is created by adding 1 to the first number. That is step value. 2 is becoming 3, 3 is becoming 4, 4 is becoming 5 means the step value is only 1. The difference between two numbers is 1. That is called as step value. In case
Okay.
if you don't want that one, if you need different number, you have to specify like this. You are saying that the number should start from 1 and it should be up to 9. The step value is 2. Now this function will generate the values like this. First value is 1, plus 2 is 3, plus 2 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 2 is 9. Maximum 9 is the upper limit. It will stop. Is that clear? The step value concept is clear of the range function?
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And not only that, even step value can be a negative also. Yeah, okay, Gautami. Deepika, are you able to follow the range function? Deepika, are you there? Manoj, are you able to follow? Am I audible, Narasimha, now?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, fine, fine. Okay, Manoj and Somashekar. See,
Okay, sir.
it's not required that you have to specify always the step value in positive. Say, for example, you reverse the value. The starting number is 10, the last number is 2, and the step value is -2. You can specify. That time it will generate a different thing. Say, for example, now here in your screen itself, without specifying step value, you are saying that a 0 to a 10 comma 0. It means that you want to generate numbers in reverse order: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, like that up to 1. 0 will not be included. You have to understand, either you can go from ascending order or you can go with descending order, increasing order or decreasing order. Now, for example, you are saying that just range 10, you are specifying like this. Most of the time you will using the function like this. What do you mean by this? Only one value is specified. It means that you have given the upper limit. You didn't give the lower limit, you didn't give the step value. If you don't specify the lower limit will be by default automatically 0 will be considered. If you don't give step value, 1 will be considered automatically. Most of the time we are going to use this format. Range 10. Range 10 means 0 to 9, it means. Okay. Now, operators in, not in. Already I have introduced you the operator. We are going to practically use that operator in our what it is called as in for loop. Before that, please recall, in operator checks whether a given value is available in a list or in a container data structure or data type. List tuple that I introduced is container data type. Either it can be in a square bracket or in a parenthesis. Now, if phi in like this, if you ask, it will tell you true. Phi in 1, 2, 3, 4, it will say false. A is in apple. This is also a valid statement. Whether the character A available in the string apple, it will tell you true. If you ask whether the word national is available in international, because national is already available as a word in international, so the result will be true. This is the way the in operator membership operator. If you recall from the operators lesson, you can say that. Whether any word part of the sentence or not, you can find like this: word in line. Yes means word is part of the line. Otherwise you can say no, the word is not part of the line, using if statement. But here our focus is not if statement, it is our for loop. For loop in Python is used to create a loop to process items of any sequence like list, tuple, dictionary, string and set. Please try to understand, list, tuple, dictionary, string and set all are having more than one value, containing n number of values. If it is containing n number of values, if we want to process one by one, item by item, if you want to, list is containing multiple items separated by comma, tuple separated by comma, dictionary, string, set, different data types are there. You want to access item by item. How can you do that? With the help of for loop, you can do that. And easily you can achieve whatever you want to process. We are going to explore all those things. Say for example, school for loop with list. School is having multiple string values: principal, PGT. PGT means postgraduate teacher, trained graduate teacher, primary teacher. After that, we are using for statement. Please focus in these two lines. For statement is a compound statement. It is having a header. and after that it is having a statement of its body. Say for example, for SM in school means every time when the loop is executed, one by one the value of the school will be assigned to SM. What will happen as a result? Again the print SM statement will be executed for 4 times, because principal will be printed first. In the next line PGT will be printed, TGT will be printed, PRT is printed. How this is possible? Because for loop is a repetition statement. It accesses each item of the list one by one and it stores in the SM, and it can be printed with the help of print statement. If you execute and if you see these three statements all together as a program, you can easily understand what the for loop is doing. Now say for example, take the example of a tuple. The name of the tuple is code, and you have assigned a list of values or a tuple containing multiple values. If you want to access item by item of the tuple, you can specify the name of the tuple here. You can specify the name of the tuple here. After that you can use the in operator, and after that a variable name. Each item of the code tuple will be assigned to CD. As long as the values are available in the tuple, the for loop will be executed again and again. As soon as the tuple exhausts, the for loop will be false, because the lost item it will not be able to return to CD will become none, and none is going to be here a condition where for loop will terminate. If you execute this all 3 lines, also you can understand how we print element by element of a particular tuple.
Sir,
Yes, Vinay or Narasimha.
Yes, sir. Can you explain again, sir? Because power cut issue, sir. So we didn't.
Power cut issue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. What I was talking about is in the for loop, most of the time we use for loop for accessing various kinds of container data types and mapping data types, set, etc. So in essence I can say list, tuple, string, set, dictionary. If you take, it can contain multiple items. If you want to access item by item, you have to use for loop. That is the easiest way to access the elements or items of a particular list, tuple, dictionary or set, even a string. Otherwise it will be a tedious job if we don't use for loop, because for loop is executed again and again. So element by element it is accessing and it is printing. Whatever the 2 types of code snippet you are seeing in your screen, if you type and execute, you can easily understand what is the for loop is actually doing. The print statement will be executed 4 times in the first case. In the second case, the print statement will be executed 6 times. How? Because in the school 4 strings are there, in the code 6 elements are there or items are there in the tuple. That is why it is that number of time it is executed. If you are not understanding now, you can take how for loop works. Take this code example. Now first it will create tuple code. Code is created. After that what happens? Then the loop starts. It will pick values one by one from code and assign it to CD. The for loop will pick one by one values from the code and it will assign to CD. First it will take the first value 10 from the code, assign to CD. Because 10 is available in code, so 10 in code is also true. Automatically the print statement will be printing the 10 value. Again 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 like that. Now you see, for loop starts, it will pick values one by one from code and assign it to CD. First CD will become 10, so the printout will be 10. if when it goes to the next time, that CD will become 20. Output will be like this. Second time CD will be 20, so output will be 20, and automatically it will keep on printing 30, 40, 50, 60 like this and so on. The last value will be 60, it will be printing, and automatically it will end when the last item of the list is processed. Here it is tuple. As soon as the last item is processed, for loop will stop executing repetition, and it will move on to, and it will hand over the control to the next statement after the for block. Now, for loop with a string, say for example, for ch in plan, if you give like this code, this code will print plan. This code will print plan. One character, one by one, the for loop will pick, and each character will be assigned to ch. Ch will print character by character. That is what happening with this slide code. Narasimha, Manoj, Deepika, Gautami, class is somewhat disturbing. Students are joining and lines are dropping. What is going on? Anything wrong with the internet connection in your side also?
No, sir, it's fine from my side. I think Simha and other student have problem. Sir, I tried on the code which we were talking about for tuple.
Which one?
Can you please explain what? See, even in the current slide, it's written for ch in plan. Okay, so what ch is? What is ch?
Ch is nothing but a variable. It is going to be a string variable. It is going to hold p, l, a, n. That is what the print statement is printing. So the result is p. Ch is
but in the last.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead, Deepika.
In the last slide, it was for CD encode, right? So here I understood that ch is for char, right? But for CD encode, what is CD then?
No, they have given anything. You can again here also CD refers to a variable. Maybe you can think it as you can give the C, A, B, C, D, whatever you like. X you can give, Y you can give, anything you can give. Again, CD is nothing but a variable. It takes one value at a time from the code list, and it is storing inside itself, and print statement is printing the CD value. Obviously, the output is going to be in the screen 10, 20, 30 like that. Got it now, Deepika? My slide is automatically, are you clear about the variable? It's nothing but variable. After the for loop, whatever we are using is a variable.
So we must use a variable after for loop?
Yes, obviously we have to use, because you are extracting one value at a time from the containers like string, list, tuple, etc. Plan is a string value.
Okay, now I got it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Narasimha, Manoj, Somashekar, Manoj is there. Okay. Gautami, is there any disturbance in your network?
No, sir. Now we'll good, sir.
Okay, Manoj, are you okay with the network access? Okay, Gautami, no problem. Okay, fine. Just because it is a very important thing to understand. Okay, Manoj. Many of the time for loop is easy to understand, but try to understand connecting with the Python specific data type. The data types are complicated data types, and also we are going to the way we have nested the if statement. Even the say for example, list can be nested within the list. Tuple can be nested inside list. You can mix up with the data. A list can be inserted into a dictionary. Lot of complication is there for data processing in Python, because it is providing you all kind of facility for data processing. That's why it is powerful tool for us. Understanding for loop in the context of data type is very important. That's why these slides are talking about how you are processing container data types like tuple, core, list, string, dictionary, etc. one by one, item by item. Because in a real life, you can create any complicated dictionary or list, but at the end of the day, you are going to access individual items to a process. Again, the result will be created in the form of another list or something else, depending on the requirement of your problem. So we are understanding how we are accessing individual items of a container type like list, tuple, etc. Moving on. Now coming frequently, we are also going to use this format, this for with range function. For with range function. Usually this type of structures we don't find in any other programming language. Usually a statement will be there and that statement will execute again and again. That is the behavior. Even so far whatever the language that I have studied, I have seen. But it is not introducing you functions and all. And sometimes range is also an object. In future we are going to see that range function is generating some objects also. How, what, why, we will see later when we take the topic of object oriented programming. Now, as of now, I can say you can mix the range function or you can use the range function in a for statement. How? You can use like this. For I in range 1 comma 101, print I end tab. Print statement is should not go to the next line. It has to keep on printing in a tab space. The next element has to be printed. In effect, what is basically this loop is doing, a range function is generating a number from 1 to 100, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 up to 100. After that, one by one value is given supplied to I is printed. So in effect, what happens, for I in range 1 comma 101 means all the natural numbers from 1 to 100 is printed on your screen. If you understand this structure, you can create complicated for loop by changing the range function. For example, you don't want to start from 1, modify that. You don't want to end up with 100, modify the upper limit. You don't want the default step value 1, you need a 2, go with that. Or otherwise you want to start from a bigger number and end up with a small number, a descending order, go with that. You don't need positive step value, you need negative step value if it is descending order. So you can play with the for loop as long as you modify the range function. Accordingly, it will reflect the effect on the for loop and you can process up depending on the requirement of your program. If you understood this for loop structure, one benefit what I demonstrated you is how item by item the container data types are accessed with the help of for loop. And apart from that, in most of the situation, we use a range function with the for loop to access the or repeat the block of the for loop statement. Now moving on. Say for example, this 3-line code can print. Grade 1, 2, 3 students are using what is called multiplication table. You can input any number. That particular table will be generated by the program. Only that 3 statement can do that. If you are giving 5 as num times 1 equal to 5, you can see that result. Please execute this program. This 3-line of program can generate multiplication table of grade students of 2, 3 for any number, general program. If you want 6, if you want 10, you need 256th multiplication table. Just give that number, immediately it will generate you that. How this is possible? multiple time multiple statements are printed. How is it? It is because of range function and for statement. For statement is a repetitive statement. To repeat things, numbers are generated by a range function. You have to understand the correlation between for statement and the range function in Python. For example, you want to find out all the numbers which is divisible by 7 between 1 and 100. 14, 7 is divisible, 14 is divisible, 21 is divisible, 28 is divisible, 35 is divisible. Like this, how many numbers are there which are divisible by 7 between 1 and 100? That is, all the numbers has to be added up. All the divisible numbers should be added up. How can you do that? This program can do that. This 4-line program can do that. What is this program is doing? Find out all the numbers which are divisible by 7 between 1 and 100 and add up and display the sum of those numbers. This line is doing. Here also we are using both if selection statement for iterative statement. And you have to explore, if you have to explore what is it happening there. If you don't explore, you cannot solve the problem that involves the loop and control structures. Okay, now moving on, you have to do all these 4 programs, and some other programs are also coming up for while loop. As of now, you have to complete the lab work. What is the lab work? Enter any number and find its factorial. Factorial of a number. Yes, Deepika, please go ahead.
Sorry to disturb, sir. I just ran the program which you said to test, the above one for the integer in enter any number and for the range 1 to 11.
You
It
are
seems
talking about that multiplication table, Deepika.
yes, this one.
Yeah, this
Program
first
to print table
program.
of n. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
ran it. It says that there is some internal problem with Spider, sir. Can you please check?
Okay, I'll stop and I'll project a spider now. I'm stopping, and where is that spider window? Okay, one sec. Yeah, spider is visible now. Now a spider window is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me make it a little bit bright, and let me type the program now for say for example, usually whenever you start a program, start with a command statement saying that this program in Python is to generate, for example, generate what is multiplication table for any number. Okay, after that I'm going to get the number. What is that number? I have to convert it into integer because int function will give you string value. Enter a whole number because you should not enter fraction. After that, that number is used in for loop. For I in a range, what is the range 1 to 11? Because 1 to 11 means some in some states it is up to 10, or in some state up to 12. Let me specify it up to 12. See the output and you can understand what we mean that. What we mean by this one. Print num times I num times I equal to num times I. This is going to happen like this. What is the whole number? For example, Deepika, the screen is visible to you, right?
Yes, sir. It is.
Yeah. Now I generated the table for 6. What it now the output?
Yes, sir. But I don't know. Somehow it's not running in my laptop.
I will copy paste and you can check. Most of the time the punctuation errors are happening in the print statement. You please check which is variable and which is string, and which are separated by commas. And just I'm copy pasting in WhatsApp this code. Definitely you can compare and find out it should be a punctuational error. It is not more than that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm copy pasting this program also. You can try in your system. Now I pasted the same program. It's available. And what was the second program? We were talking about a repetition statement. The find a divisible by 7, right? Say for example, I want to write that program also here, if you want. Say for example, add up all the numbers divisible by 7 between 1 and 100. This is what the program is. Add up all the numbers divisible by 7 between 1 and 100. A little bit I will make this program elaborate. It will also print what are the divisible numbers. After that it will tell you what is the sum. Now say for example, I have to start with a sum variable. After that, for I have to generate in range 1 to 100, so 101. And if I is divisible by 7 and it generates 0 equality, then it is divisible by 7. So the divisible by 7, the number is I, and also I am performing sum also here. I can use the shortcut method sum equal to sum plus I. After that, doing all this, I can print sum of all the numbers divisible by 7 between 1 and 100. 1 and 100 is sum. I don't think I can find any error. All these things are okay. And let me run the program. Now it says that sum of all 7 is divisible, 14 is divisible, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, 98, and the total of all this number is 735. How this is possible? Again, divisible by 7 is printed. How summing is done? Again, adding up, all because of the for loop. Here code is executed. This is the body of the for loop. Whatever I am highlighting, that is the body of the for loop where the code is again and again executed, and this statement is not part of for loops. Only one time it is executing. Now if you see like this, you can see in one line I have displayed the output. This program also I can copy paste immediately, instantly you can copy and run the program, find out what actually the program is doing. I hope the screen is visible with the program now. And Deepika, now clear, right? Are you able to run the program now?
Sir, I don't know. My Spider app is reporting some issues.
What type of error it is saying?
It's saying some internal issues is there.
You have to the first solution you have to attempt is sometime what will happen if you have any bug in the software. If it is having problem, just go for a update of the software, don't reinstall.
Okay.
After update you can try, definitely it will run.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, in general I am talking about for Narasimha, Manoj, Somashekar, Gautami, and where is Vinay? Vinay is not there. All I'm asking, please go through the update process and it should be working. As of now, if you don't want if you are not able to run that Spider, it is more convenient place to run. Even you can try a online Python interpreter. You can copy paste and run and see the output. But please don't go for online because it is not convenient place to save your files. It will be Spider alone can do all the facilities for you. Now, what I am asking, some lab works are given in the slide. Find the factorial of a given number. How to find factorial of a given number means, say for example, factorial of 5 means 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied up to 5. That is called as in mathematics factorial of a given number. If I give 100, 1 times, 2 times, 3 times up to 100, result has to be displayed. You know, there is no data size because factorial numbers can easily generate big numbers in result. Say for example, you give 1000, it will be a very big number that you are going to get as a result to find out the factorial of 1000, because it is involving not addition, it is involving multiplication. So that's why the results are very big. But you know, Python can handle any big number, integers. Only your computer memory can contain or prevent that number to for storage. Python doesn't have any limitation to store. Only the limitation is coming from your random access memory. Okay. Fibonacci series is something I'm telling you. Fibonacci series is to be generated with the help of for loop and if statement. Without that, you cannot solve the mathematics problem. It is a very simple problem in grade 8 problem. What is Fibonacci series? The first two numbers are starting as 0 and 1. The next digit is produced by adding up the previous two digits. 0 plus 1 is 1. The two previous digit is 1 plus 1 is 1. And the previous digit is 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5 and so on. That is called as Fibonacci series. How can you generate Fibonacci series using Python program? The purpose is not to learn Fibonacci series because it's just a grade 7 problem. But you must understand how to solve this problem with the help of loops and control structures in Python. Okay, the third program, 10 numbers and find the sum and average. The user can enter any 10 numbers and you have to find out the sum and average of the given 10 numbers, any number. And write a program to enter lower limit, upper limit and find the sum of all the odd and even numbers between the range separately. The fourth program is you have to understand lower limit you have to accept as a input from the user, upper limit as a input from the user. Find out all the even numbers and odd numbers between the two numbers. Say for example, a lower limit is 100, upper limit is 500. In between, how many odd numbers and even numbers are coming? Find out. Find out the sum of all the even numbers separately, sum of all the odd numbers separately. Yes, Somashekar. Go ahead, Somashekar. You are raising hand.
Sir,
Yeah, please go ahead.
so we didn't visible for slide.
Yeah. Actually, because your class time is over, that's why intentionally I didn't project. Only thing is the slides are available with you. 4 problems are there. You can read it, and if you need any explanation, you can message. I can further explain that. And please solve the problem. Then only you can practice the concept of all the control structures in Python.
Definitely.
Thank you, friends, for joining today's class. And as usual, the regular classes will resume on Monday evening, and Saturday, Sunday will not be having any classes. Please utilize the opportunity of class hour on Saturday and Sunday or any time of your convenience. Complete all the exercises, whatever the exercises are pending. Thanks for joining.